It's one of those things where we want to be better.
Yeah.
And we want to do what's best for each other. I tell people all the time, don't fight against one another.
You're fighting together against it. Yeah.
Because it's those conversations that might make you rethink where y'all are and what y'all are doing.
And I would also look at how the person perceives himself.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Living Outlandish. I'm Michael.
And I'm Jody.
And we are the Outlands. Hey, this week we want to talk about what does it mean and what is the makeup of a good marriage? Like, what does that look like? And by all means, if you're not married, it's okay. This is for you as well, because I think a lot of times we try to find what's working and what looks good while we're there.
Yeah.
If you're dating, guess what? Go find the one that's willing to work it out with you and live that type of life with you. Keynote, if you're not dating, looking for the right one, this is probably real perfect for you because you can do what is necessary for you to kind of build yourself up,
Sure.
right? So Let's talk about it. What does it take to create a great marriage?
I mean, I can't be shared with everyone.
This is true. You are the foundation of what makes our marriage wonderful. You
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, for real, seriously. No, but if you were to say, let's say three key things, and then let's kind of break those things apart if we can. I think we would agree as far as what they are. But three things that make up a wonderful marriage. What would you say one of those are? Those are
Communication.
check.
Okay. Love for one another. Trying to outdo each other.
Check.
By loving each other.
Yeah.
And
Can I do the last one?
okay.
I think it's one that I think a lot of younger couples miss out on, and I don't even think it's on purpose. I just think it's kind of accidental.
Okay.
But the respect of
Yeah.
one another,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's that piece where I respect you enough to think about you in my decision making.
Yeah,
I
that's
respect
true.
you enough that when I'm not even around you, I'm considering you, right?
Yeah.
I respect you enough not to do things that's not pleasing to you just because you don't know about it, right?
True.
I
That's
respect you
true.
holistically. So I love it. Yes, you're right. 100% communication. As you know, that's our thing.
Yeah.
If you communicate correctly, hey, you can get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Communication, love for one another, real love, not, that new fandangle stuff.
Not just putting up with you.
Exactly. Real love. And then respect. So let's take them kind of individually.
Okay.
So what does it mean to you to have real communication?
I mean, we over communicate about everything.
Yeah.
And we try to create a front in front of the kids that's united.
Uh-huh.
But
Now that doesn't mean fake, right?
No.
But that's a united front. We're together. We're
make
joined.
decisions behind the scene. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes talk.
I also think just seeing communication as part of the respect.
Okay.
And not checking in or like you're over me or I'm over you. Because I think that gets lost a lot.
It
when
does.
people are communicating. It's like, I'm not checking in. I don't have time. And we communicate about money. We communicate about sex. We communicate about family. I mean, nothing's off topic.
I love it. One of the things that we did some years ago, for many of you who may not know this, we do couples coaching,
Yeah.
right? And so we coach couples in their relationship, premarital counseling, postmarital counseling, if you will, coaching, excuse me. And we do so. And one of the things that we do early on, like session one, is we do a thing called the DISC personality assessment.
Okay.
Right.
Yep, that's true.
We talked about it in our inaugural episode, right? As far as DISC, DISC. And a part of that, it's like, what is your personality that you bring to the table, right?
Yeah.
Who are you when you come in day one, right? Are you dominant? Are you that super high D personality where you want to, make sure you take things and you're in control, or you want to make sure that things are done correctly, and so you kind of take a boss attitude, if you will, a lot of times. Hello to my D's. Or are you an I, right? You enthusiastic? Are you an influencer? Are you that person that's super, super happy? Are you an S, right? Where you are calm, cool, collective. You want to be very steady. You want to make sure that everything, you're kind of nice, if you will.
Yeah.
And then are you that C? Do you have you have to be very concise and be very precise in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And what we realized when we started this journey, as far as going through DISC, or at least I didn't realize I was trying to force you to communicate in my personality
That's
style
true.
versus me trying to understand yours
Yeah.
and migrate to your style. Can you, when I went through my certification and went through that process a few years ago, what were your thoughts process as far as this whole DISC thing and me explaining what that was? What were your thoughts about it?
It was a lot. I was like, oh, another personality test. Yes, I understand. I'm too, what did you say? What are the words? Too detailed oriented.
Oh, very detail oriented. Hey,
Or nosy.
Hello to the C's, right?
Or nosy, or talks too much.
No. It was funny. So going through the personality assessment, I had that aha moment.
Yeah.
Where they're sitting in, where I'm sitting in class, right, and I'm there, and they are explaining the C's and what they need. And again, people don't do things against you; they're normally doing something for themselves based off a tendency or comfort zone. And we are there, and I'm listening, and I'm hearing, well, C's, they ask a lot of questions. Okay, C's, they're not doing it because they're interrogating you, but it's something that they need to understand. And the more he talked, the more I'm like, oh, it's not that she didn't trust me. It's not that she did. She was just, she was interrogating me. She was asking me questions and communicating with me in her style.
Yeah.
It changed the game for me.
And that's helped a lot with the kids too. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, we have a C on our hand that asks all the questions.
All the questions.
And needs to know all the details.
Amen to my
before
son.
You just move forward. You're like, go do this. But why? But how? But when? But why?
So to our parents out there who are in a world where they are asking themselves, why is my child always doing this?
Or questioning me.
Why are they questioning me so much?
Yeah.
Why are they always asking why? Why can't you just do what I say when I say it? The reality of it is, it's not them trying to go against you.
Yeah.
That's their personality trait, and that's something that mentally, physically, emotionally they need to be able to progress. It's not against you. Again, people don't wake up in the morning and say, I just want to tick you off. Like, never. Maybe sometimes you do. Maybe I make you mad before you go to bed, and you're like, when he get up in the morning, I'm gonna let him sleep because he got to go to work. But when he get up, I'm going in. Maybe that's sometimes. But for the most part, most people don't intentionally come. Because we even go to work, right? Or you go to the school with the kids, and somebody will do something, and you think they're doing it against you.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, they're only doing something for them in their comfort zone based off of what they need.
That's
right?
true.
Super high C's. I love you guys because y'all keep me in line. I.e., praise the Lord for my wife. But it helped us in our marriage because it taught us, instead of me, wanting to force you to talk like me, to think like me, to react like me. How about I try to learn and understand you? Come on now to a marriage. If I can understand you, then I can communicate better in your style.
Yes.
Instead of me trying to force you to understand me, right? Now, here's the beautiful part. We play a game. If you can try to understand me and I can try to understand you, guess what? We both learn our language. Hey, we both learn each other's language and we do well. It's the problem comes into play when we're communicating and somebody is making sure that their voice or tone is heard, or you have to do it my way. So let's go back.
Okay.
Before DISC, right? Before I go and get this certification, before I go on this journey, I'm not sure if you want to tell everything because I know people think I'm perfect, but I'm not. Right? Maybe there may be somebody out there. Maybe one person thinks I'm perfect. I don't know. My daughter does. She does. I don't care what nobody says. She's daddy's girl, and she's gonna think I'm perfect forever. Okay. But that who was Michael prior? Right? Who's our prior? And what was some of the things that I do now that if I did then could have made those days better?
You're more patient when I'm asking questions.
Okay.
And you know from the start to just explain more than you would normally.
Absolutely.
You don't give a lot of one-word answers. And you engage more in conversation as opposed to just looking at me like, why are we talking about this?
Where are we going with this conversation?
I think that's helpful.
Okay.
I think that those are the big things for me.
Okay. I like it. Because I just believe that if I can learn what you want, this is not an opportunity for manipulation. That's not what this is about.
Yeah.
What this is about is if I can learn what you want, i.e. going even deeper as far as like love languages, like knowing each other's love languages and what is that thing that makes you tick? What's that thing that you enjoy that makes you feel love? If I can do those things, right, then I'm showing you one, back to that third thing we talked about, I respect you, right? But not only that, I want to get to know you. I want us to work. I want us to be great. And so if I'm willing to talk about it, right, I'm willing to come to your level, if you will.
Put in the work.
Yeah, put in the work. Amen to the people in the back. Hey, anybody know marriage is work?
A lot.
It is a lot of work. It is hard work, right? It is very hard work. And one of the biggest things, again, we talk about is communication. Let's talk about the next one.
Oh.
Let's talk about loving each other.
Okay.
Right? We all know, right? And it's no secret, right, that I love you more. It's okay that the world knows that, right? It's fine. So knowing that, right, that I love you more, how best have we over the years been able to show love, and how do you know what do I do or what do I say to when you are say, you know what, that man loves me?
And you go out of your way to make sure that I'm taken care of and comfortable.
Okay.
Whether it physically, emotional, all the things are met. And you think about me one step further, it's always you're one step ahead.
Okay.
So that's good. And then you create security.
I love that.
Taking care of the household. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, not sure, shout out to the love languages, and that game changer of a book and series kind of thing. When we went through the love languages and learning what our love languages were, it was shocking to me what I was doing that I think a lot of people do, right? I have my love language,
and I have mine,
and you have yours. And we have some that cross, right?
Yes.
We have some love language that cross and that blend. But we have others that don't, okay? And what most people do is they show love how they receive love,
That's
right?
true.
So my love language, right, and whatever it is, whatever your love language is, right, this is acts of service. And so mine's not, but amen. But if it were, right,
Yeah.
you're acts of service, and you're like, okay, my love language is acts of service, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go show love by giving a whole bunch of acts of service.
That
But that's
doesn't
not
mean anything.
that's not their love language.
Yeah.
They don't receive. They said they want gifts, right? They said they want quality time, whatever their love language is.
Yeah.
And so I think the biggest piece for us, if you would you agree, is when we started showing each other love in the love language of the other person,
That's true.
right? When I started to say, you know what, I've been trying to show her love in my way, but if I really want to show her love, how about I learn what her love language is?
And you have to be really intentional because some of ours are so different. It's just like, oh,
It's not natural.
Why do we have to hold hands? Okay, we're holding hands.
Yes, love. Physical touch. Hey, I'm not to my fellow men out there. Physical touch does not just mean sex. That's not just what that means. But I love just holding your hand. I do. I love walking up behind you and just grabbing you. Like
I know.
she's like, I know it's irritating. I'm cooking.
I don't want to be touched.
I love it. But here's the deal.
Social distancing.
It's not. It's hey. We are past that. The masks have come off. We are past that. But the reality of it is, you don't shun me or push me away.
Yeah.
Like I know that, and sometimes I just forget, right, that physical touch is not your love language, right? You're cooking or you're washing dishes or you're sitting on the couch watching TV, and I just come snuggle my head up next to you and just hold you. I know that's not your thing, but you know what? I never feel as though you're like, get away from me.
Well, I mean,
Well, sometimes. A little bit, because it's you want to show me that you love me,
yeah, that's
right?
true.
You want to show me that I need to show you that how you receive it is what I'm willing to give.
That's true.
And so I wonder how many couples are out there that are willing to do the work of learning their spouse.
Because it's definitely work. And it's been years of work.
Yeah. So what would in learning me, what was the most interesting thing that you found out?
Well, being a guy in physical touch, being a love language was not that hard to come up with.
We're not that simple.
I think the affirmation.
Okay.
It's like, because you're so sure of yourself
Yeah.
and you have confidence. So it's like, why do you need me to
Yeah.
affirm anything? You got it.
It's crazy how, and for those of you who don't know, that's not the love languages book. That's one of those emotional needs. And another one of our coaching sessions that we do with our couples, where we go and we search out, not only do you need your love languages, but you have
Yeah.
emotional needs that you just need to kind of be done in your life. And
Yeah.
that level of affirmation is yeah. As a guy, it's one thing, and I don't know if it's from my childhood. I don't know if it's from now where I am, but hearing you affirm me, hearing you say that you're proud of me,
Yeah.
right? Hearing you say that you love who I am for our family. I mean, that is like, okay, we won't turn the cameras off, but like the biggest turn on, right, ever. It's amazing, right? It's
Is it
wonderful.
enough to get that trip to Bora Bora?
It might be. It might just be.
It works. It's gonna.
But so I love that. I love that about us, right? That I think over the years, I think the biggest piece is we've been willing to work hard to learn one another,
Yeah.
to grow with one another, to understand one another, to build with one another. I think that those are the things that have made us who we are,
I agree.
right? And not just going along to get along, not just dealing with the day to day or dealing with each other, but truly, truly putting in the work to say, listen, we feel it is necessary to be engaged.
Yeah.
We feel it's necessary to love on each other in the way the other loves.
And we show that to the kids too.
Yeah. Last one, respect.
Okay.
When you think of respect, what goes to your mind?
Not talking over each other,
Okay.
not being rude to each other, not putting business out there for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, everything stays between us. And definitely encouraging and building you up in front of others. Like, I'm not going to talk bad about you to anybody.
I love that.
So,
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Greatly. But so when we think about respect, I think they all kind of obviously they're a three-strand cord that kind of tied together. But when you think about respecting each other, the way we communicate with one another,
yeah, that's true.
not hollering at each other,
Wow.
not
Not you.
There has to be one of us that is a little more calm than the other, right? But how we talk to each other, right? I can't expect, because one of the things that we talked about as far as when we were going through our marriage counseling, because we didn't have the privilege of having premarital counseling. We had to learn on the job training, if you will, and we
Yep.
failed miserably at the beginning, and then we had to go to counseling, right, and learn one another. I think learning that you shouldn't speak to your spouse any way you would not want another lady
Yeah.
or a man of the opposite sex to speak to your spouse. I can't be mad at another dude for hollering at you if I'm doing the same thing at the house,
That's
right?
true.
And then if I would be upset if somebody else was talking to you that way, why am I the one tearing you down?
Yeah,
Why am
that's
I the one who's not affirming you? Why am I the one who's not giving you all the love and respect that you need? And so it brought it back to my mind when we were there and he was talking to us, and I'm like, you know what? That you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I would be furious if anybody else talked to my wife this way. Why am I doing it?
Yeah, that's
I
true.
wasn't respecting you enough to acknowledge the fact that I was bringing you down. So the question is, how do you show respect, and how do you make sure your spouse knows that you respect them? Any tips?
Like I said, I don't tear you down. Now, my girlfriends may know if you on my nerves.
Okay, hey, it's okay. It's okay.
And I'm not going to put our business out there. And I'm not going to do anything that you would not approve of.
Okay.
Not that I need your approval like, you're my dad or something like that. But in order to have the love that we have for one another, I'm not going to do something that would shame you or bring embarrassment.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that greatly. Because listen, at the end of the day, we are only as strong as the other person.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I'm tearing you down, how likely is it that you're going to feel, love? You're going to feel that this is the place for you. You're going to feel like pouring in to this marriage. Right. And so I think a lot of couples, they argue, they fight, they're combative with one another, and they do so without thinking of the outcomes, without thinking of the other person, without thinking of how you're tearing the other person down and how you are not showing respect. And so the thing is, now you're wondering and you're asking yourself, well, why did you shut down? why are you not talking? Right? Why are you going to bed angry? Right? When it was a lot of what you said versus what you could have done.
Yeah, that's true.
If you could give advice, brand new couple, and you could touch on the main three: the communication, the love, the showing of love, the respect, what would you say to that brand new couple?
Keep your business to yourself,
Keep your business out in the streets.
even from like close family members,
Okay.
moms, siblings, dads, cousins. Because I know everybody vents to different people.
Facts.
No one outside the home should know when you're not in agreement,
Okay.
arguing. Like, it's okay to have little tiffs,
Okay.
or little disagreements, but a full-blown argument. Because there have been some times where I would choose not to talk to you. But we still have to leave the house. We still have to go to church. We still have to,
Yeah.
go to family functions. So you're just like, thank you. Don't look at me.
Listen, the craziest part about it is that we can be in a tiff, if you will, at the house, but once we walk out in them streets, we are the outlands. We are ride or die, and if you come in between us, you got problems.
Yeah.
Now we might have been upset before we left the house. I get it.
Yeah.
But while we're there, we together. When we come back, we still need to talk, but we're still together. I think that is the essence of proper communication.
Yeah, and I think being vulnerable and being willing to communicate about everything,
Yeah.
even the uncomfortable things, because we've had some very awkward, uncomfortable, especially in that first year of marriage. I was like, I don't even know. Do I even tell that story?
Hey, we said we were gonna be real. We said we were gonna be real.
First got married. I never lived with anyone, obviously, and so I have had a heavy flow. That's what we'll call it.
Okay.
And before I got
And he was in town, if you know what that means.
Before I got on medication, I would have huge clots. I know, TMI. And I went to the bathroom in the middle of the night and obviously dropped one on the rug. And Michael came back to bed. He was like, I'm bleeding. Because he had gone to the bathroom. He was like, I'm bleeding. I don't know. I cut myself. I must have cut my foot. I cut my foot. And I was like, we're looking all over. I'm cleaning it up. I don't see a cut. I don't see anything. I'm like, I don't know what happened. I don't.
Yeah.
I realized what had happened. It was terrible. And then that next night, I had to wake him up in the middle of the night. I was like, babe, you're going to get up. He was like, what's wrong? Are you okay? I was like, you're going to get up. You're going to get up.
We've never lived with anybody before, right? This was new to us.
He looked
right?
down. He was like, oh. I was like, you got to get up. I got to clean the sheets. It's a sea of red.
But you know what?
I was mortified.
You were mortified, and I apologize for you being mortified. But I will say this, it helped us in our communication because that level of vulnerability early on in our marriage, there wasn't much.
I mean, I would have tried to cover it up, but I didn't even know what to do. Put another sheet on you.
Certain things you just don't think about prior to getting married, prior to living with somebody and sharing a space. You just don't think about that. It's happened before, I'm sure. But this was a moment where, there's somebody else here. Oh, God. There's somebody else here. And I have to report this, right? So, but what it did for our vulnerability, one, me having the conversation that I was completely uncomfortable with, right? Oh, my God. I'm completely uncomfortable right now. But you know what? She's talking to me. And ready? I can tell she's embarrassed.
Mm-hmm. Mortified.
I need to protect my wife in this moment. Give her some comfort. Let her know it's okay. It's normal.
Yeah, because you could have said ew and ran out the room.
Could have, right? Could have. I did not sign up for this, right? Could have run for the hills, right? But no, give you comfort. Let you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. Listen, I was saying, if this is the worst thing we deal with today, it's going to be a great day.
Yeah.
Right. And so going through that moment, going through that time with you, it let me know we can go through
Yeah,
anything.
got you ready for when I was pregnant.
Oh God. I don't know. We're gonna tell that story because you had some bad communication when you were when you were in labor. I'm just saying you had some bad communication. You did not follow the tips that we learned in class. I'm just putting it out there. We're gonna do it. You know,
I was having a whole baby. I wasn't remembering anything.
I'm just saying
I
you
was having
didn't do well.
two whole babies.
Two whole babies. You could have done better. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey, listen, we're going to continue the conversation.
Okay.
I want to continue down this track. I want to go deeper. I want to tell some stories about how we communicate and how we got there. But let's do it after this slight break. All right. Hey, we'll be back. Hey, guys, if you've not yet subscribed to this podcast, question, what are you waiting on? Hey, hit subscribe now. Also, join us on Patreon for exclusive content. Follow us on social media at Living Outlandish. Also, make sure you join our mailing list for updates and newsletters. Just in case you forget, everything is here in the description below. Hey, stay connected with Living Outlandish Pod. See you soon. Hey guys, we're back. Now, when we left, we shared a very vulnerable story. Now, I think we should go further.
Oh, boy.
I think we should go deeper, right? As far as just vulnerability.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I believe a lot of couples struggle with is telling their past, right? A lot of times we don't know why we do what we do, and why we act how we act, because we don't understand what happened prior to us getting together, right? We hadn't fully communicated. Like, why do you do that? And I think a lot of people are afraid of the answer, right? Because understanding why you do what you do, so I can better help you or better understand it, so I can join in with you, right?
True.
Or they're afraid of having to answer their own questions. Like, if I ask you a question, then you probably gonna ask me a question, and I don't want to answer the question, right? But I think a lot of people struggle. So we in our coaching, we talk about this thing, and so we'll act like you never heard it work. Okay. So you have two people, a man and a woman. Okay. One of them, they grew up in a house, right, where when dad comes home, had a bad day, something happened, dad has a bad day, he's upset. Okay. Mom tells the kids, hey, go to the room, your dad's upset, he's angry, hey, let's let him have a break. Right? Those kids, they go to the room, right, while dad's upset, he cools off, she calls them for dinner, dad's better, they go. Okay. Got it. You have another group. Okay, another let's say the young lady, right? That was the young man. Have another young lady over here. She grew up in her house where when daddy comes home, we don't go to the room. Oh my God, it's time for dinner. Dinner's already cooked. Okay. Hey, let's sit down at the dinner table and let's talk about our day. What happened? Dad tells the bad story, day, right? He tells about the bad day. We talk through it as a family. We go through the situation. Ready? The guy who, when dad was upset,
goes to the room.
Yeah. Gets married to the lady who, when dad comes home, we talk about it at the dinner table.
Yep.
They get married. Now, when they argue or when they have confrontation, what happens to the guy when things go awry and somebody is upset? Where does he go? Because remember, when dad's upset, where does he go?
You revert back to the room. You revert back to your roots.
So even if he is there standing, having an argument, having a conversation, having a disagreement, you know where he went mentally? He went to the room. Because we shut down that conflict. We don't talk. We go to the room. Yeah. We are ready. We allow the situation to dissipate. And once the situation has dissipated, Then we can come back together and we can sit down and have dinner.
Yeah. Okay.
You have another young lady who was raised in a house where when dad comes home, we sit down at the table, we have a conversation, we talk it out, and we work through our problems together. She just married a dude that goes into the Listen, here's the harsh reality. Because of how they were raised, even when she tries to tell him that it's healthy for them to talk, that it's healthy for them to communicate, that it's healthy for them to sit down together, you know what happens until he gets proper work, right? Until he goes talk. You know what happens at every argument? Mentally, even though he's standing there, he's in the room.
He checks out.
He's checked out. He is in the other room.
And sometimes he'll physically do it, and then it's going to irritate her.
Yeah. And so a lot of times when we refuse to have those conversations, when we refuse to communicate about, hey, I see you shut down anytime there's an argument, I see you shut down. Tell me about that. What happened? Like, what happened when you did y'all argue around each other when you were younger? Did you ever see your parents have an argument or have a conversation?
Yeah.
How did you all as a family deal with conflict? Right? If you're not asking those questions early on in marriage, guess what? You don't know how to argue. You don't know how to fight. You don't know how to communicate properly.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
You all you know is, well, this is how I know how to do it. And a lot of us do that, right? We don't really ask questions about doing things right. You know what we do?
Yeah.
You know, why do you do it that way? That's how we always did it.
Yeah.
Right? So we just do things because that's how we always done it, right? And so I encourage you as couples out there in space and in the world, our wonderful Living Outlandish family, you should ask questions. What was your childhood like? What was arguing like? What was communicating like? What was conflict like, so that you can communicate properly?
Yeah, you'd also want to know if somebody was just like, I don't know, throwing bottles or chairs.
You want to know. You want to know. If that was a part of the life, you need to know that. Get that out on the table. Get that out on the table. So let's talk about conversations and let's go into confrontation. Right.
Okay.
Because I don't think I've ever, been confrontational throughout our 16 years of marriage at all. No. So the thing about it is there was something that I did early on, and I'm sure most people do it. When I was arguing, right, we have a disagreement.
Okay.
Even you, let's say you. What was the outcome you were looking for when we started the argument or going through the argument? What was the number one thing you wanted to do in the end?
I'm going to prove that I was right and you're wrong.
Okay. I can attest to that. Yes, true. But I think it goes even one step further, right?
Okay.
I think that people, when they argue, they have one thing in mind. I got to win.
That's what I just said. I'm right and you're wrong.
See, I told y'all. See, I knew if I just did that, she was going to show y'all exactly how that goes. I'm right, you're wrong. She wanted to win. You see that? All the people out in our Living Outlandish family, you just saw it in action. But jokingly, I know we joke about it, but think about it. How often did we, before we went through our disc training, before we went through before we went through marriage counseling, before we sat down and actually got tools, right, to work on our marriage, what was the goal? I gotta
win an argument. Yeah.
I'm a winning argument. And I won't say his name, phenomenal guy who taught us this. He says, if you're aiming to win the argument, you're going to lose ultimately.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand what that meant. He said, if you win the argument, great, good job. Give yourself a round of applause. But if that is your goal, you're going to lose.
You've already lost.
You've already lost. Yeah. And the reason is, when it comes to winning an argument, you some people choose to go below the belt.
Some people,
in order, maybe I'm not saying it was me. I'm just saying possibly I may have hit below the belt just to win the. I didn't mean it. I just wanted you to know that if we go in there, let's go there. if that's where we're going, right? Let's go. Right?
Okay.
And the whole thing was, I want to win. Yeah. But guess what? I lost later that night. Lost. That was a big loss. Yeah, I lost a couple of days. I lost for a couple of days, right? And I tell people all the time, listen, instead of fighting to win the argument, right? What do you really want?
Change. Okay,
I love it. So why are you picking a fight, right? Why are you digging your heels in to this argument in this area of communication, and you're only focused on winning it when the reality of it is, I actually just want you to change, right? I actually want us to be better. I actually want the situation to be fixed. But when we argue and when we go to that level of winning and we go hit below the belt, we say stuff we don't mean, we go cutthroat.
Yep.
What does the other person do?
Meet the energy.
Hey, let's go. If we doing it, let's go. Right? It is one of those situations, and guess what? Nobody wins.
Nope.
I think Jay-Z said it best. Nobody wins when the family feuds, right? The reality of it is, if we are fighting, if we are arguing, nobody's winning. Mm-hmm. No, you're not hearing anything I say when I am hitting you below the belt.
True.
You're not receiving anything I say when I am just saying something to make you mad.
Yep.
Right? I am hurting myself in the midst of hurting you.
That's true.
Because I'm only wanting to win. So how about we calm down? How about we settle down and have a real life conversation?
I agree.
How about we say, you know what? I'm not going to just listen to respond, because that's what we mostly do, right?
That's what people do.
Oh my gosh. I can remember. I didn't hear nothing you said. I didn't hear nothing you said, because you said in the first 2 seconds of our conversation something I didn't agree with. So instead, I hadn't heard the last 10 seconds of what you said, because I'm still mad about what you said. First 2 seconds, you were wrong. And you didn't hear nothing. You respond. And so you go back and you cutting people off, right? You hollering, you cussing, you mad. Why? It's not doing anything. That was me. I'm not saying that was me. That was my proxy back in the day.
Oh, you're probably. Okay. Got it.
So, but when we couple them together, communication, love for one another, respect. Mm-hmm. Now, where we are today, where I'm able to say, this is a good spot for us. Mm-hmm. I can communicate better. How now do you say, because of the way we communicate or I communicate with you, how then do you say it has helped with those three kind of intertwine with one another?
So when you communicate effectively, mm-hmm. that's already showing love, because you're going the extra mile to communicate. Then, okay, most of the time. Most of the time I try to communicate effectively.
Okay. You do well. You do very well.
Sometimes I just don't talk.
Sometimes.
And then you know that I love you, but I don't want to talk to you. But I'm showing you respect because I'm not yelling at you.
Yes. Amen.
Because I respect you, I don't go below the belt.
Yeah.
And I try not to bring up past things and couple and just throw things at you, because it's like, okay, we already have an issue. I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to work through it.
Yep.
But I want to respect you and I want to keep it nice. So
that's respect. Hey, you threw out a term that a lot of people don't know. Mm-hmm. Okay, but let's go in there. Okay. What is coupling?
The best way to describe it is an example.
Okay.
Not realistic. That's not something of yours, but you left your shoes by the door, so I'm mad about it. Okay. So I didn't say anything. You didn't put your plate in the trash, or paper plate in the trash, so I'm mad about it, but I don't say anything. You didn't lock the door, front door, when you left. I'm mad about it. I didn't say anything. At bedtime, You're watching TV and on your phone. I'm trying to talk to you and you don't say anything. I'm mad. I've been mad all day. But I didn't say anything.
Okay.
You're just living your best life because you don't know.
I don't have no clue.
But now that I'm pissed off, I'm going to couple all those things and throw them at you. And so by the time I tell you I'm mad, you did this, you did that, you did, and you're like, how many things? I mean, why didn't you say something? Like, what is going on? And so then it makes you feel like you can't do anything right. You haven't done anything right, and you've had a horrible day because I just threw 5 or 6 things at you when you didn't even know that I had an issue with one.
Absolutely. So some people call it stacking. Some people call it coupling, right? It is taking that one thing, right, that you should, whatever that one thing that you're mad about at that moment, right, and you're frustrated with in the moment, instead of focusing on that, getting resolution to that. Oh no,
You're the worst person in the world.
You don't put your clothes up. You don't wash no dishes. You don't know how. You ain't walked the dog in 3 days, right? You just keep adding stuff, and guess what? You know what that does to people? It makes people shut down.
Yeah.
And most people don't get it. It's like, again, back to what we said just a moment ago. Because they're fighting to win, they're like, if I just can keep, it's like if I can just keep blowing blows at you, I'm a win.
Well, it's easy. Sometimes it's easier to do. We see it in our couples that work opposite shifts or have jobs where they're coming and going. So if you have somebody that works days and then somebody that works nights, you may not always see each other. So it's like, okay, by the time we sit down and talk, I have 15 things that I'm upset about.
And I need to put all of them on the table now.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it's even good to be like, hey, when you have a quick minute, I know, you just got to work or you just got home to rest for work, but I just need to run something by you so that you're not waiting until day 3 where we're both off or whatever the case may be.
I love it. Hey, there's one thing we do that we do, but we also give to our couples that we coach. We give them an elephant, right?
Plastic elephant.
A little toy elephant, about yay big. How do we use the elephant, and what is the concept behind the elephant?
The elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room.
That was birth after I had the twins. Before.
Yeah. Was it before?
No.
I think it was after.
I think it was before because it was when I stopped working.
Okay.
And I stopped working before we had twins.
You're right.
So I would be home all day and something would happen. And then Mike would come home from work and he's like, I just need 5, 10, 15 minutes to myself. I've been work all day on the road trying to get here. And then he walked in the door and I'm like, he's like, oh God.
You never sounded like that.
You're right.
Your voice is too angelic for that.
You're right. You're so full of it. And so he was like, we just need something to where when I come in, you give me like 5 or 6 minutes to find my peace before we discuss whatever's going on. So we got the elephant at the toy area in Walmart. And I'd put it on the mantle or on the couch or his pillow or whatever. And when he comes in from work, he'd see it and go, oh, there's an issue. But I will discuss it with her when I'm ready. I'm going to go to the bathroom and sit there on my phone for 20 minutes. And then come out and lay across the bed and try to think about what it could be. I'm going to go grab a snack. After we had kids, he'd speak to the kids. And then he'd be like, so do you want to discuss the elephant in the room?
It was genius. FYI, congratulations, great job. In the introduction of it, because you're right. Like it was difficult, because I drove an hour or more coming home in the evening, so I'm already trying to. Because you're working in Coppell. Yeah, so trying to decompress from that drive, and so with that commute and trying to do that, and then getting home, and then boom, it walk right into the lion's den. I was like, whew.
Wow, the lion's den. Wow.
No, but think about it. You're right.
That angelic voice went away so fast.
Nyla, from the Lion King. The Beyonce voice, right?
No. I'm not buying it.
But it was, you walk right in and it's like, okay, what? And you know what happens? a lot of dudes, you see them on, we think it's in the movies, but it's real life. They're sitting outside in the car, right? In the driveway, dreading walking in the house.
Had a job like that once.
Where you're just like, I know when I go in here, something's gonna be done. Something's gonna be done. It removed that pressure. It removed that, okay, am I gonna walk into anything? Because it wasn't every day.
Yeah.
But when it's multiple times, right? You get conditioned to it. It allowed me to say, you know what? I know for sure I'm walking in the house and we're not in an argument.
Yeah.
I'm walking in the house and nothing's coming at me. And I'm going to get a moment. She's going to respect me. Back to that. She's going to respect me to give me a moment to kind of get myself together, right? To kind of decompress a little bit, change my clothes from work.
I mean, I'm gonna give you a half, side eye, eye roll,
You may not hug my neck.
and
It's okay.
I'm gonna give you the church hug.
You go like the little side church hug. Yeah. But you weren't fussing at me, and I will tell you that was a game changer for me. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever holistically thanked you for that, because I never wanted to be that guy that sat in the driveway. I've never done it, right? But I never wanted to get there.
Yeah.
Before we ever got there, you put something in place, right, for us to say, hey, there's the elephant in the room. Hey, I'm going to give you a chance. Go use the restroom. Go change your clothes. Get your mind right. And then ready? Because we weren't going to be explosive, which was another thing.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't going to be coming at each other because we weren't trying to win. What were we trying to do? I'm trying to get you to change. Right. And so because of that, it's.
And not change in a bad way.
No.
It's both of us change
Fixed.
and get an understanding
Whatever
to progress
the issue is.
forward. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Continue.
I think I was done.
It's one of those things where we want to be better.
Yeah.
And we want to do what's best for each other. I tell people all the time, don't fight against one another.
You're fighting together against it. Yeah.
So can you say say it for the people in the back
Yeah.
pew, right?
A lot of people in marriages is me against you, you against me. But no, we're together. It's three of us on this side against it.
Me, you, and the Lord. Hey, listen. At the end of the day, it is a 3-strand cord, right? We are believers. For those of you who didn't know, we are, and we walk with the Lord in everything we do. But we love each other. Like, I deeply love you, and I will cut off anybody because when somebody's disrespecting you, they're not just disrespecting you.
Yeah.
They're also disrespecting me. They're disrespecting our union. When they're disrespecting me, you say they're disrespecting you. They're disrespecting our union.
Yeah.
And so because of that, we say, listen, we are together, and we it's us against the world. And I love it. It's truly amazing. So I know we're coming up toward the end of our show, or the end of this episode. But before we go, I want to take a few minutes I want to impart some wisdom, some knowledge on those individuals, because we said we don't just want this to be about marriage. We want it to be about people who are looking and searching, right? Either searching for their mate, or they have their mate and they are evaluating their mate for future. So then you might be engaged.
Okay.
What are some of the tools from a communication standpoint, from a love standpoint, from a respect standpoint? Can you give them to make sure they are placing their relationship on a healthy foundation?
Watch how your mate or significant other handles conflict with people outside the home.
Okay.
The way that you interact with people outside the home lets me know kind of how you're going to deal with me. So being able to watch that. Your faith also helps with that.
Okay.
I would say knowing your heart and your patience. You need to watch for that, because some people are just evil.
Yeah, they are.
And it makes a difference. And you can only be fake for so long. So once if you're evil spirited or have a bad heart, can you pray somebody out of that? Yes, but
It's a lot of.
if that's who they are, that's who they are.
You're right.
So, and like you were saying, hidden below the belt, that's something that you desire to change, and me as well, because it was a quick, easy. Oh, I'm gonna win this argument because I know I got the upper hand, but it didn't get us anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I answered your question.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Absolutely.
maybe not.
Well, can I'll take in and
I
kind
guess.
of, yeah.
I'll let you take over.
I'll add for those who are looking or those who are evaluating. I encourage you to have the conversations, the tough conversations, right? The uncomfortable conversations that will spark issue later, right? If you don't know how they handle conflict, right? Because you're still in this roses and everything is great kind of mindset early on. If you don't know how they handle conflict, go ahead and spark the conversation.
Yeah.
If you don't know, ready? If you don't know how they handle their finances, right? Go ahead and have the conversation, right? If you don't know, or if you feel like they disrespected somebody else outside the home, right? I saw an article. It was funny to me, but it was real. It said that a friend, like a young lady, broke it off with her best friend. So two ladies broke it off with her best friend when she found out that her best friend had cheated on her boyfriend, because she says loyalty is loyalty. And so if you'll cheat on your boyfriend who you say you love, what are you going to do to me, or how are you going to protect me when so if you won't be loyal to him, you're not going to be loyal to me. I don't deal with you. Look at how they handle outside situations, how they handle outside relationships, right? If they got bad blood everywhere they go, you might want to steer clear, right?
Yeah.
Don't be the person. I can save him. He not gonna do that with me. He fought the last three girls that he was dating. Like, what makes you different? Right? He ran up the credit on the last three women he was with. Your credit is in danger. Run. It's funny how you hear these conversations, and you hear, that's because he was with her, or that's because she was with him, and they believe that they are so different. Now, I get it. People act different around each other, but take it outside of it. How do they act at work?
Yeah.
How do they treat their boss? Right? How do they, when they're talking about their day, how do they run down people? Right? Because what makes you different when you are, when you ready? When y'all get into an argument and y'all get into, a disagreement, what are they going to say to you behind your back when they don't agree with you?
Yeah.
Right? So are they going to be running your name in the street, right? The same way they're doing their boss, or the same way they're doing their so-called friend, right? Be willing to have the conversations early.
Yeah.
Because it's those conversations that might make you rethink where y'all are and what y'all are doing.
And I would also look at how the person perceives himself. You highly respect yourself and carry yourself a certain way and have a way that you want to, present yourself to the world.
Absolutely.
So you need to be with someone has some standards.
Yes, and that's going to be standards and boundaries are we're going to talk about that heavily in future episodes, because I think a lot of people get those wrong, and they misunderstand what standards are, right? And they misunderstand what healthy boundaries are. But if you don't have those, you can't be in a healthy relationship, not long term anyway, right? Well, guys, we are coming up upon the end of our show. We have, we've talked about a lot. We've done a lot. And if you are intrigued about what we're talking about and what we're doing, we encourage you again. I don't know if you paused it and hit the subscribe button, but hey, if not, please do. We want to be in your life. we want you to join in ours. You're going to hear a lot of stuff that you're going to be shocked by, right? You're going to hear a lot of stuff that you may not know about who the Outlands are. But come over here. We are different. Come join us and live outlandish.
And shout out to our camera crew.
Shout out to the crew in the back. Hey, thank y'all, our producers. Hey, y'all are amazing. We couldn't do this without you. Y'all have a good one. God bless y'all. See you next time.